Martin Kennedy was no stranger to Valkenberg Psychiatric Hospital in Cape Town. Being diagnosed with bipolar and having yet another manic episode, his parents did what they thought was best for him at the time. This was supposed to be like any other time. Go to Valkenberg, stay there for a few months, get well, come back home and live your life. But this time was like no other. Approximately 10 days into the stay, Martin's father had to walk into the horrifying scene of Martin's lifeless body on the floor of the hospital. In his own words, and I quote, "They left him there like a little animal." Hi, welcome or welcome back. To my returning subscribers, you are so special to me. I appreciate you so much. To all my new listeners, thank you so much for choosing Crime Science. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you will never miss an episode. With this channel, I try my very best to create awareness. Here, we don't only cover high-profile cases, we also do the smaller and sometimes unheard-of cases. If you like this type of content, please show it by pressing the like button. Also, leave your respectful opinion in the comment section down below. I always love reading the different opinions and they sometimes create interesting dialogue. Then, I also want to make it very clear that I mean absolutely no disrespect to the victim, family or friends in this video. Martin's mother Cheryl and father Derek knew he was something else from the day he was born. From a very early age, he said he was going to be an actor, and that's what he went on to do. Martin was outgoing, happy and loved to sing and dance. According to his friends, his favorite song to dance to was Jerusalema. None of his friends could keep up, and he had a lot of friends. According to his dad, who said that he and Martin were more like mates, Martin would come out of his room in the morning singing and just added a happiness to their day. He went out to sing karaoke almost every weekend. Martin was a very supportive friend and always wanted others to feel special. Martin loved to be outdoors and regularly went to the seaside. He prided himself on being stylish and worked very hard on his appearance. The salon was one of his favorite places. He was also an animal lover, and his best friend and confidant Rocky can attest to that. Martin was openly gay and had an extroverted personality. But like all of us, he was sometimes insecure and needed a word of encouragement to get him back on track. While scrolling on Martin's social media, trying to get to know him, I found myself numerous times smiling, so I can only imagine the light and love he brought to family and friends. Martin was diagnosed with bipolar at the age of 23. While working, they were attacked and part of that was being held at gunpoint. According to the doctor, the trauma of that day was the cause of his bipolar. Martin was also very open about his diagnosis and even wished bipolar a happy birthday on social media. Over the next 10 years, Martin would regularly be admitted to a psychiatric hospital, Valkenberg being one of them. In September 2021, Martin had another relapse and became violent. His mother described it as manic stages with a lot of aggression, and it was so out of character for him. His father said that he would be so out of control and actually break stuff in the house, and that it was very scary to see him that way. His parents had so much empathy for him because they knew he had no control over his feelings and behavior. So, the best thing to do was to have him admitted to a psychiatric hospital once again, so he could get better and continue living his life. This time, it would be at Valkenberg again. Sunday, 3 October 2021, approximately 10 days after he started his stay at Valkenberg Hospital, Martin's father received a call saying that there was an incident. Martin was attacked. Put yourself in their shoes, having a lazy Sunday, then suddenly receiving a call from the hospital. Your son was attacked. Not saying by who, not saying what happened, just saying that the doctor is on his way. Later, receiving a follow-up call to say the doctor had seen Martin and there was just a little cut on his nose. He would be fine. Due to the pandemic restrictions at the time, Martin's parents were not allowed to go and visit him. Derek, Martin's father, managed to speak to him the next morning, but he said he could barely make out what Martin was saying. His voice was very hoarse. According to Derek, it sounded as if Martin had been screaming for 4 months. He could make out what he thought was the word help. The very last words that Martin said to his father was, "Is my mom missing me?" This breaks my heart in more than one way. Feeling helpless and deeply disturbed, Martin's parents did not know what was going on. That afternoon, Derek received yet another call from Valkenberg. They informed him that there was yet another incident and him and his wife needed to come to the hospital immediately. No further explanation was given. They rushed to the hospital, actually thinking that they were going to sign a consent form to move Martin to safety. They just couldn't figure out why both of them had to be there. Instead, once they arrived at the hospital, they were informed that the staff were unable to wake Martin after his afternoon sleep. Martin was dead. Cheryl, Martin's mother, was devastated and on the edge of having a breakdown. Making the situation even worse was that the staff had no idea why or how he died. The doctor on duty actually speculated that Martin had died from his medication his parents supplied. My question was why they supplied the medication. Well, they were requested from the hospital to supply the medication. Why? Because the state pharmacy didn't have any. They were asked if they wanted to see Martin's body. When they entered the room, they saw that the staff had just left him on the floor. Derek saw blood spatters, and when he asked about it, the staff said that it was due to them trying to administer a drip. According to them, mouth-to-mouth was given for about 30 minutes. Derek now has to live with that image in his head of his son lying on the ice-cold floor. The next day, Derek received another call from Valkenberg, informing him that CCTV footage was reviewed and they now suspect foul play. This footage was never shared with him. It was, however, handed to the police, but they are now not allowed to see any of the footage until the investigation is done. Carte Blanche had an interview with Kama Rossi, the head of acute service. According to him, resuscitation should happen on a hard surface, and that is the reason he was on the floor. When that didn't work and they realized that Martin had passed away, they had to call the police to investigate. They didn't want to tamper with any evidence, and that's the reason why they left him on the floor. According to Kama, there had been no incident like this in the 16 years he was working there. He described Martin's last few days as being disruptive and restless. The day before his death, he was in an altercation with another patient. Martin, being the one initiated the altercation by pushing the other patient. That patient then retaliated and punched Martin. But that is not the same person that might possibly be involved in Martin's death. To this day, Cheryl and Derek is still in the dark about what happened to Martin on that day. Neither the police or the hospital can give him any information. The hospital did an internal investigation, and that's when they saw another patient that might be involved. They immediately shared that information with the police and said that they were also none the wiser about what happened on that day. In true South African style, it took the police 3 weeks to go back to the crime scene, to go and take pictures. What did they want to take pictures of? 3 weeks. I suppose the area would have been cleaned by then. Martin's body was also recalled not long after he was released from the state mortuary because, according to them, insufficient tests were done. The autopsy results are also not yet shared with Cheryl and Derek and will not be shared until the investigation is done. A perpetrator was identified and he was seen fit to stand trial. The police refused an interview with Carte Blanche and just responded that the investigation is ongoing and at a very sensitive stage. Really, 4 years after the fact, and the murder investigation is still ongoing and sensitive, All the while, a murderer is walking out free. The saddest part for me while researching this case is that other than the original report, there is no police updates, there is no journalist making noise, as if Martin's life didn't matter at all. But it did, and his family and friends are still fighting for justice. Please assist in this fight by sharing this video with as many people as possible. Make some noise and scream it from the top of your voices that this is unacceptable. If you made it till the end, thank you so much. Please take a minute to send all your love to Martin's mother and father who lost their only son. Until next time, bye.